Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we're going to have a look at PCLinuxOS. I think I've probably looked at it in the past, but we want to have another look at it. A new release is just out, and we just want to have a brief look at what it is. And we're going to see the use applications that one might have for it and decide if this is a distribution you want to have. If not, you want to run, at least keep a copy of it around, because there are some good, compelling reasons to do that. Even up on their title tag, it says the Boomer distribution. Maybe that's because it looks so old. Maybe that is because the distribution itself, it looks like something out of Windows 95 era. Although I didn't look around to see if there are better or different themes in there. We'll go ahead and have a look at that when we boot into the distro. You can see at the main homepage, there's just a few little updates to it. There is a release just last month. And this new release, the Pointless Distribution Manager has announced an updated installation media for KDE Plasma, Mate, and XFCE desktops. Following features stand out: new apt, RPM, and Synaptic Package Manager. So I guess you can do apt and RPM. Okay. New MyLive installer replaces Drawcat Live install. So that is a way that you can make some adjustments, and you can take your current computer and export it to a bootable live USB key. Additional configuration tools were added to the administration system. We have kernel 6.4.7. And you can read the other software updates over there. Updates to Mesa, glib, GCC, Chromium, Firefox, and also there's a Thunderbird update in there as well. Puts out afterwards. LibreOffice 7.5.5 is the default Office suite. UFW replaces the Shorewell, and enabled by default. All wireless drives are enabled in the kernel with updated firmware. So you have some ability to run a few more wireless drivers than you might otherwise do. As we've already said, there are Plasma, Mate, and XFCE versions of this. There are some community releases. I didn't have a look at that particular tab yet. And let's have a brief look at the About. So it is a free, easy-to-use Linux operating system for x86, 64 desktops or laptops, so no 32-bit support. But they do say that it is distributed as live CD. ISO images can be installed in your computer, or you can use it in live mode without making any changes. And they do also highlight in here the My Live CD, which allows the user to make a snapshot of their current hard drive installation, which will include all of your documents, applications, settings, compress it. So if you want a really good, concise backup method and you don't have a ton of things in your documents, for example, this would be a good way to do it. So also good for a form of corporate deploy, where you get the thing set up, get it all configured the way you need it configured, and then make that copy for your the rest of the computers in your network. So that is the type of things that you can do over there. And as far as everything else it can do, where I like most about it as I was playing around with it is the amount of system tools inside of it are very handy to have. So even if you're not necessarily going to be running PCLinuxOS, you might download a copy and keep it around for some of the extra tools. For example, we covered in the past Ventoy. And if you're struggling with getting Ventoy to work, even though the new installer systems are Ventoy is already pre-configured. And I just plugged this USB drive right into my VM, and I was able to convert this into another Ventoy drive with a click of a button. So if nothing else, you can boot this guy up, run it as a live key, and then install Ventoy to something as you see fit. So what we are going to do is we will jump on over, have a look at what the system looks like, and then once we have a look at what the system looks like, then we're going to poke around at all of the available software and whatever else. Here is your login screen. So we have our language, we have our session. So last section, we have the X client script, we have Mate. Here's actions. We can either shut down, we can run XDMC chooser, configure the login manager, restart the computer. There's some configuring options there, I guess. And what we're going to do, since this is a little bit of a different manager here, you do have to click on the username over here. You got to do that before you enter your password. If you don't do that, you're like, oh, because most other distros, it automatically gets you to the password, enter your password, and get logged in. You're not going to do that over here. You need to click on that profile first. Of course, if you have multiple user profiles, you click on the profile you want. So what we're going to do is get booted up here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and zoom this in for the rest of the video so you guys are going to see it full screen. Now, mind you, I've already gone through the display settings and set it to go full screen, and even last time I went into the display settings, it still did say that it was running full screen resolution, but clearly it's not. So that is certainly something to do with your graphics card, and I actually have VirtualBox also set to hint the proper size as well. Something in here is locking this at a smaller resolution than it should, and I do not know why. So I'm not going to spend time fighting with it just for the purpose of a review, but just be aware if you're running it in a virtual environment, that is one of the challenges that I've had. We also have the default menu. There's no search options here, so you have to kind of know where what you're looking for is at. So definitely gives you that old boomer computer type look. Who uses those modern search features anyway? That starts getting something like, Windows XP, But you can, I'm sure you can probably replace that. This is Mate, so I'm guessing that if we were to add something to the panel, we might actually find better menu options. I don't know. There's a classic menu, compact menu, there's a brisk menu. So if you do want a better menu, you can go ahead and do that. That's not a reason not to use the system, but we're going to go ahead and keep with it how it currently is. So here is your more applications. Before we get into this, you can see it's running on 358 megabytes. So this is running very well. Definitely a lightweight system in that respect. There is a lot of software, and so we have to keep that in mind. It's not exactly super light. It is I think this one was a 2.4 gigabyte download. So it's not super light, but the extra software is actually one of the more compelling things. It's kind of like, is it Kudashi? I can't remember which one it was. That just has hundreds of tools. You keep it around for no other reason than the tools. One of those is, this is a nice backup tool that I found. So this is just a GRSync backup tool. And of course, I do need to plug in my drive. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And the VM here is set up to automatically capture that drive. So hopefully it does. And there you go. It does. So I tested this out. Oh no, I don't want to open it. Okay, just note to self, there is single click install, single click open is configured. So we'll go ahead and let this do its thing there. What I wanted to do is show you that the file there will run with your eSync. So over here is inside of our documents. We put a folder over there, and yeah, I know it doesn't exist. Thank you, because I deleted it. But I did delete it off of here. I just went into my Ventoy. Remember Ventoy, I could drop ISOs into here, but I can also just go ahead and use document file in here as well. So Ventoy is a nice thing to keep around in that respect. So we're empty over there. So what this is going to do, we can create all these different profiles, and then you choose your top line is your source, the bottom line is your destination, and go ahead and hit your button, and boom, it's going to G-Sync all of those files over. So now if I wanted to open this guy up, have a look inside of Ventoy, and there you go, because it just took a backup of everything that was in my current documents, and it sent them over into the backup. So that is a really nice tool here to run some rsync stuff. Neat systems, like, maybe I'll install that on some other things. That's one of the reasons I like some of these bloated distros, is it gives me a chance to see some other tools I might not otherwise play around with. Of course, we have time shift, basic configuration things. We do have an install me. Oh, you're running live installed from a system that's installed. The installer will not run on any installed environment. Okay, maybe taking that out of the menu might be a good thing to do. I don't know. And that's apparently locked into there now. It has showed up and it's not going away. All right. So here's your editors. We have Pluma. We have BleachBit. BleachBit is root. We have Clear Recent, Gparted. and Ventoy. This is the one that if you're having difficulty with Ventoy, this is that Ventoy application that you can install on any Linux distribution to easily one-click install something. So what you have here is booting this up. It's going to give you a list of all of your eligible devices to install Ventoy to. Of course, that's my little drive that I have right here. And you can do secure boot support. You can do your partition style. You can do a partition configuration, so you can preserve some space at the end of the disk if you want to. And you can clear Ventoy. And then here, this is telling you what the current Ventoy is in the universe and what is the Ventoy in the device that I have. So if I needed to update it, I can push the update button. If I needed to install it, I could go ahead and do that. In fact, I didn't think about doing this, so hopefully I don't shoot myself in the foot by doing this. I'm going to pull that guy out, and I'm actually going to grab my existing Ventoy install and plug it in and see if I'm running the current version of Ventoy or not, and I do not know if I am. I'm going to go ahead and close this guy down as well. And I'm not 100% sure if this particular drive will auto boot or not, will auto attach itself. Not 100% sure. Let's see. That one looks like it may not. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and make a little adjustment here. And I'm going to mount this USB drive. Okay, it didn't actually show up in my system settings. That's a problem. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go USB, and we're going to go ahead and mount our SanDisk Ultra. Let's go back to full screen on that. And now the Ventoy disk is mounted, and if I now go into our File Tools, Ventoy, now I can see that Ventoy in the package and Ventoy on the device. So actually my device is actually newer. So, okay, we do have a little bit of software that's a little bit out of date. Good to know. Good to know. Which is curious because I just downloaded this guy. So there we have it. But you can kind of see that you can get Ventoy working. It is a little out of date. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe if we run some system updates, then that'll fix itself. I don't know. Actually, I don't think there's a sudo group set up here. Let's go ahead and give that a test. I'm pretty sure it does not. Yeah, sudo is not found. So let's see if I can get into there. Nope. Of course, I have to type it right. There we are. There we are. A couple different ways to get into into root if you are running your system. So there we have it. And apt upgrade. I'm not on a cursory look. I'm not actually seeing an upgrade to Ventoy, but we'll go ahead and run the updates and then reboot the system and see what is happening. Well, it's running our upgrades. Let's go ahead and have a look at the rest of the software. We have Solitaire, of course. This is actually the fun Solitaire game. It will actually have a lot of different forms of Solitaire in here, so more than I've ever heard of for sure. So if you are looking to play some cards on there, that is a good one to install. Under our graphics, we have Eye of Mate, we have GIMP, Mate color selection, we have random backgrounds, and we have take a screenshot. And then we have, under Internet, we have AnyDesk, FileZilla, Firefox browser. We have Mega Cloud Sync storage, so if you're running Mega for anything, you can automatically do that. We have Nitro Share, network file sharing application, and we have Thunderbird. So we do have some extra tools here that some of you may find useful. If you're not using FTP, FileZilla is bloat. If you're a web developer like I am, yeah, that's one of the first things I install on any of my systems. So again, that's going to go either direction. We have a character map. Absolutely love the fact we have a character map. Believe it or not, I'm such a nerd, I use the character maps, okay? We have calculator, a dictionary, and we have the full LibreOffice suite. Of course, I do have to look up the word woman because, of course, I have to. To act the part of a woman. Okay. To make effeminate or womanish, or to furnish with or unite a woman. Okay, so there you go. So Mate Dictionary does know what a woman is. It does, at least it doesn't like crash and burn or something. I don't know. Here's your software center. We have LibreOffice Manager, Synaptic, and VirtualBox Manager. So VirtualBox is not installed. This is going to be an installer for VirtualBox if you want it. I have no idea what the LibreOffice Manager is. Let's go ahead and have a brief look at that. Close your package manager apt-get and then run it again. Oh, okay. So can't do that right now. Sounds good. And as far as our sound, here's what we have over here. We have VLC. We do have Spotify. We have Dead Beef. And under our video, we have Handbrake. We have Spotify again. We have a video downloader, and we have a VLC media player. Let's see what the video downloader this is. Oh, look at that. There's audio. There's video. Just enter a URL there, and here's video. Wow, that's neat. All right, let's have a look. There's about. Should we go ahead and give that a brief try? Let's go ahead and give that a whirl here. So let's go with. I want to see if it can download, for example, a BitChute video. For example, I mean, if it's using YouTube DL, that's for sure. But I know ClipGrab, which is available as an app image, by the way, will allow you to download from pretty much anything that has a well, you don't want to grab that one. That would be a bad video. That is a video that shall not be named. Right. So we're going to copy the link to that video. Let's go ahead and enter this and hit download and see what it does. Looks like we do have a couple of errors over here from... Looks like it's just reading from one of those. We're going to try running that upgrade one more time in case it's just a small glitch in the matrix there. Sometimes that's what you might need to do. And open download location. So there you go. It actually works. It downloaded a video off of BitChute. So that's a nice little tool to have handy. So you can go ahead and run that. And it looks like it is installing most of the rest of the stuff. So it looks like that one server just couldn't find it for a brief moment in time. Okay, so it looks like everything is done. Let's go ahead and reboot the system, and we'll see if Ventoy upgraded to the latest version, and then we'll also test out a few other little things that we might see. Okay, so it was full screen, and then it went down to a smaller screen setting. Okay, I don't know what's going on with it. It booted full screen, and then it went down to a smaller screen size. No idea why. Let's go ahead and have a brief look at those display settings again and see what's going on with that. Again, if you're running this on real hardware, you're not going to run into this problem. This is just because I'm running VirtualBox. Hey, maybe let's just try running it in 256 colors like it's 1995. Of course, you do have to reboot the system in order for us to do this. So, I don't know. Do we want to reboot again? Let's not worry. Let's not worry about rebooting right now. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to go over... Oop, I typed the password wrong. I don't know how I got my password. That's definitely not 123 wrong, but somehow I did. And now let's do my live CD, because that's something that you had to do from your root command. You cannot do that from your user. It has to be from your root command. And so it looks like it is creating the file over here. And I have no idea where it's actually going to put this file. My best guess is it might put it in the root home folder, is my guess. So if that is the case, I'd have to get into the file system, and it would be under root. Of course, I'd have to get in there and get permissions, but it might be under there. So I don't know. We'll see if this thing says. But it says it's now compressing the image. While it's doing the image compressing, let's go back to our file tools, see if Ventoy updated itself or not. And it has not. So some of the software is going to be held back, a little bit older. And then over here, it looks like we are creating this image. It's going to take a little bit of time, so I'll go ahead and wait for that to finish before we wrap everything up over here. And I guess one more thing, since we're not actually running an update right now, let's see what happens if we try and run the LibreOffice Manager again, see what that tool is about. So this is, we can install, reinstall, upgrade, or add LibreOffice locale, or we can completely remove LibreOffice. So testing our internet connection, reloading package information, and then this will give us information to see exactly what it is. So this tool is going to help you run any, let's see, please update your system. Interesting. Okay, well, we've already run full system updates, and it still's like, no, we don't really like that, bro. So that package apparently is not doing much. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give this, looks like it's going to take between 10 and 15 minutes to finish that up, and then we'll report on how that looks. But other than that, this is what we see in this particular distribution. So let's go ahead and do a brief wrap up, and then I'm going to come back and put a postscript after my wrap up here and talk about... All right, so it's done creating this live CD ISO. You can see this, and it does appear that this is inside of the home folder for the root user, not your main user. So let's go ahead and do a CD into the documents folder, and just to show you, oh, we do have untitled there. Okay, I'm completely confused on that one. I had assumed that was going to be exclusively in the root folder, but apparently it's not. Okay, yeah, it's not. There it is. So it's actually easily accessible inside of your system. I can actually now plug in my Ventoy drive. Let's go ahead and do that. And I can actually drag that guy over into Ventoy and let that guy copy. And once it's done copying, you can see it's still increasing in size. So once it's done copying, then we will have a live CD ISO that is going to contain a copy of the system. So, of course, we'd have to wait for it to finish copying, but there it is. And I assumed it was going to be in the root directory, but perhaps this is booting. I don't know. I don't know why this is booting where it's booting. And it did look like, let's just do an ls here. Okay, so yeah, we're just in our basic user. I just assumed that when we went over here, then any of the directories here might be the root user, but apparently I was incorrect about that. So. But there you have it. There's the simple live creator to make an ISO. It looks like it's going to drop it right in, I guess, whatever directory you are in whenever you run the file itself. So there is the live CD creator as well. So a lot of neat tools in this, and that's just one more tool and one more reason you might want to consider using it. So there is PCLinuxOS, and this is overall a great distribution to keep around. If for nothing else, some of the tools and functions that it makes available to you. It's really cool to see that it has Ventoy pre-installed. We have an easy install for our VirtualBox, although that's pretty easy to install. We have some extra system utilities and tools. Overall, the distribution is pretty old. It is a little bit clunky on the virtual machine that I do not know why it's not going full screen. Login windows are going full screen. It's booting full screen, and then it's condensing itself to a smaller size. I don't know why. Yes, hinting is turned on VirtualBox preferences, and it is set to the proper screen resolutions. But you know, if there's any other tips, I have not tried other tips there as well. So let me know, and I'll give it a try as long as I get them before I kill this machine, and then we'll see what that looks like. But with that, PCLinuxOS, it is pretty good. Your options of 3 desktop environments, and I am noticing a few of the software packages do seem a little out of date, and that LibreOffice Manager is not really doing something, even though we are running under just doing full system upgrades. So with that neat distribution, it may or may not be for you. Let me know your experience with PCLinuxOS in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.